Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates. We're coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. We want to welcome everybody who is going to be joining us here on the air today. We appreciate all of you being here. Now, some housekeeping first. Folks, if you like what we're saying, like what we're doing here on Emergency Management Associates, please give us a thumbs up before you leave today. Also, please stick around for the entire program for as much as possible. Otherwise, you're not going to learn much of anything. That's number two. Number three, what else do we need you to do? We need you to also share this program far and wide with everybody that you know. Literally. Share it with your friends, your family, your extended family, your neighbors. Share it with your social media contacts, and also share it with the people you work with. Share this program with the people you work with. We'd be gratified if you did that. We're trying to reach as many people as possible. We're also trying to grow this channel. We're trying to approach 10,000 subscribers by the end of June. 10,000 subscribers by the end of June, and this is just the first week of May. We can do this. We can do this if you'll help us. Please share this program far and wide. Now, first, I'm going to talk about Social Security first. Then we'll talk about earthquakes around the world, and then we will talk about earthquakes and seismic activity at the volcanoes and along the seashore along the Pacific Northwest coast. That's what we're going to do tonight. First, I want to talk to you about Social Security. This is a big deal. We need you to know what's going on. Okay? Social Security just released a press release that all of you need to know about. This is vital information if you have family members, parents, or you yourself may be approaching 65 years old. You need to be aware of this. This is very important. If you want to continue living, having money coming in, you need to listen to this, what we have to tell you tonight. This is almost an emergency situation. No, this is not negative information. This is positive information. So the Social Security Administration is going digital. They're going digital. From now on, by the first part of June, you'll probably be able to already access your Social Security card, your Social Security number on the internet via your device or your desktop computer. This shift to digital is intended to improve convenience and security for millions of Americans. Social Security officials are saying this innovation will cut down on the need for physical visits to the Social Security offices and reduce the reliance on mailed replacement cards and processes that can take days or weeks. Starting this summer, Social Security card holders will have a new digital option for accessing their Social Security numbers and information. The Social Security Administration announced that it will roll out secure digital Social Security number cards via the My Social Security online portal. The My Social Security online portal. Let me give you that information right now. You're going to need it. Everybody's going to need this. This is a Social Security website information here. SSA.gov/my account. SSA.gov/my account. The Social Security Administration announced it will roll out the secure digital Social Security cards via the My Social Security online portal, offering a modern alternative to the traditional paper cards used for decades. This applies to people that are younger as well, going in for job interviews. Why does this matter? The shift to digital is intended to improve convenience and security for millions of Americans. Social Security officials say this innovation will cut down on the need for physical visits to the Social Security offices and reduce the reliance on mailed replacement cards. Processes that, like I say, could take days or even weeks. With increasing identity theft and fraud. A digital Social Security number offers users a faster and more secure way to retrieve your Social Security number when it's needed for everyday non-Social Security Administration related transactions. For example, when you're applying for a job. According to the SSA Acting Commissioner Lee Dudek, DUDEK. Lee Dudek is the Acting Social Security Administrator. The new feature is part of a broader effort to better provide service to the public while ensuring that your personal information remains secure. The digital SSN number feature will be available to people with a My Social Security account number, My Social Security account, and can be accessed through the SSA portal on mobile or desktop devices. Once logged in, users are going to be able to securely display their Social Security number online. The option is intended primarily for those who may have lost their paper cards or simply forgotten their numbers. This feature is not a digital ID or a government-issued mobile credential and does not replace the need for a physical card in all situations. Rather, it's an additional access method. It's an additional access method aimed at simplifying proof of identity in contexts like job applications or financial transactions that require a Social Security number. Okay? Now again, I want to emphasize, the government wants you to know that this is not a digital ID or government-issued mobile credential, even though they're saying it will make things easier when you're applying for jobs or financial transactions. This digital rollout is expected to begin in early summer 2025 this year and reach all Social Security field offices and card centers nationwide by season's end, according to the Social Security press release today. Think about it. No more tearing apart your filing cabinet looking for that little blue card. You'll be able to pull up your Social Security number right on your phone or your computer whenever you need it. But there's a catch. What about grandma who uses a flip phone or people without reliable internet? The Social Security Administration says they're keeping all the traditional options available, so nobody gets left behind. They've already shown they're willing to adjust when they get pushback, which is kind of reassuring for elderly people. Someone else said, the move from physical cards to digital versions is a multi-needed step forward for the Social Security Administration. It's about time we caught up with the digital age. That said, if you still prefer a physical copy, you could absolutely get one. The digital version is just an added layer of convenience. Now, it's a long overdue update, according to many. For years, many Americans have been asking for a digital update to physical forms of ID, as it's vastly easier to keep track of and even to utilize. Obviously, the primary concern from a Social Security government level was maintaining the security of the card to ensure the data was protected. The new virtual access can be used to verify Social Security information in any situation, so individuals do not have to find their physical card or send off for a new one. Users who wish to take advantage of the new digital card are going to need to create or log into their existing My Social Security account number. Again, SSA.gov/my account. SSA.gov/my account. The Social Security Administration recommends that people ensure their personal contact information is current to avoid login issues or security verification delays. This is for the Generation Xers mainly, those that may fully embrace the digital age and have the young boomers, the very young boomers that can handle this transition. As the rollout progresses, the Social Security Administration plans to monitor feedback and adjust for usability and accessibility, particularly for older adults and people with limited digital literacy. The agency has said that the paper Social Security number cards will remain available, and the digital version is an optional enhancement, not a mandatory replacement. This is the Social Security Administration finally catching up with the 21st century. For most of us, it will make life easier, but the success will really depend on how well they handle the transition for vulnerable populations like you and I, or older Americans. Okay, this can be very trying at times. Okay, but it should make life easier. Now, the problem that I have with that, you know what happens when the government gets involved in anything. It goes bass-ackwards. It really does. It goes bass-ackwards. We've seen this happen with all the other agencies in the government. When they say it makes life easier, it also comes with usability and accessibility problems. We've seen this happen. The Social Security Administration today announced its progress implementing President Trump's bold agenda to improve services to the public while safeguarding taxpayer dollars. They're trying to improve services to the public while safeguarding taxpayer dollars. Working with the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, Social Security has charted a new course for the agency that prioritizes enhancing customer service, reducing waste, fraud, and abuse, and optimizing its workforce towards direct public service. I am proud of the extraordinary work by our dedicated employees of the Social Security Administration to help deliver President Trump's promise to protect Social Security. That's what Lee Dudak, the acting commissioner of Social Security, said. Our employees understand the urgency of the moment and have handled hard work before. They worked hard to restore the public's trust. While much work remains to be done, there is no question that the Social Security Administration has taken the necessary steps to transform how it serves the public while protecting hardworking American taxpayers. Progress on the Social Security Fairness Act. The SSA has made significant strides in implementing the Social Security Fairness Act, having paid over $14.8 billion in retroactive payments to more than 2.2 million individuals that have been affected by the windfall elimination provision and government pension offsets. Under President Trump's leadership, the agency's original estimate of taking a year or more to issue payments will apply only now to complex cases that cannot be processed by automation. The agency continues to communicate updates and provide resources to the public regarding this important legislation. Again, if you want more information about that, go to SSA.gov /benefits/retirement /Social Security Fairness Act.html. Okay. Now let's talk about cost avoidance and efficiency initiatives. The Social Security Administration has identified over $1 billion in cost avoidance or efficiencies for the fiscal year 2025 through new common sense approaches in areas such as payroll information, contracts and grants, real property, printing, travel, and purchase card policies. These efforts reflect the Social Security Administration's commitment to being a good steward of taxpayer dollars while enhancing service delivery. That's what they're doing. And DOGE, when it came into being, DOGE has also been in Social Security. They found people from 216 years of age and older, all the way up to 386 years old. Yeah, from 116 years old to 386 years old. The people were allegedly receiving Social Security payments. Unreal. That has stopped. That has stopped. The Social Security Department is also analyzing death records to make sure their database is up to date. They're not going to let this happen again. And as a result, there's a very good chance before the end of this year that we will receive, if you are a Social Security recipient, you probably will receive a dividend payment. You will receive a payment that will increase the amount of Social Security that you get on a monthly basis. That still is in the implementation phase. Okay, now let's talk about workforce optimization. Social Security has broken down work silos by combining similar functions across different offices. By streamlining outdated and inefficient organizational structures at headquarters and other regions across the country, Social Security's increased accountability enterprise worldwide. Literally, there are Social Security recipients living in other countries. The Social Security Administration has implemented President Trump's directive that teleworking employees must return to work in person full time. Teleworking employees must return to work in person full time. As the Social Security Administration reshapes its organization to focus on direct customer service to the public, all non-essential office staff receive the option of deferred resignation or money up front to resign. Social Security Administration further extended to all staff the option of voluntary early retirement, voluntary separation initiative payment, and voluntary reassignment to a frontline position. So far, the Social Security Administration has processed to completion about 350 deferred resignations and over 3,000 voluntary separations and over 2,000 employees in support positions have accepted and will be reassigned on a flow basis to offices that are most in need of staffing resources. Importantly, reports that the agency is permanently closing local field offices are false. Let me repeat that. Reports that the Social Security Administration is closing field offices is false. Since January 1st, 2025, Social Security Administration has not permanently closed or announced the permanent closure of any local field office. From time to time, the Social Security Administration must temporarily close a local field office for reasons such as weather, damage, or facilities issues, and it will reopen when the issues are resolved. Now, they are also modernizing their telephone services. Social Security Administration has begun rolling out to all of its field offices a modern telecommunications platform that when it is successfully implemented on its national 800 number. Once fully implemented, the platform will allow the agency to better manage calls to its field offices nationwide while providing more service and service options for customers, including artificial intelligence enabled enhancements. To date, the SSA has migrated over 350 offices in the Southeast and Northeast regions. It expects to complete rollout to all field offices and card centers nationwide by the end of the summer 2025. Early results show improvements to all field answer rates, to all field office answer rates, and the average speed of answer as well. Approximately 30% of calls are being serviced by automation, improving efficiency. Fraud prevention. A lot of us have real problems with fraud prevention. Now, the Social Security Administration has implemented enhanced fraud prevention and fraud prevention tools for claims filed over the phone. Further, modernizing the service agency services and strengthening the program integrity. The new technology enables the SSA to identify suspicious activity in telephone claims by analyzing patterns and anomalies within a person's account. If irregularities are detected, the individual will be asked to complete an in-person identity proofing to continue processing their claim. These advancements allow the Social Security Administration to maintain the security of its services and the security of each individual, while continuing to provide access for customers who may be unable to file online or visit an office in person. The agency is going to continue to conduct identity verification for all in-person claims as well. For the latest information in identity proofing, visit ssa.gov/news/identity-proofing.html. Now let's talk about aged records. Addressing aged records. The SSA has made significant progress in improving the accuracy of death data, addressing long-standing oversight concern. This initiative reinforced the agency's established procedures to identify people who have a higher likelihood of being deceased due to their age or incomplete death reports. Updating the records of individuals who are implausibly old to be living in an important anti-fraud measure. This is an important anti-fraud measure. Criminals may use these individual information to commit fraud. As part of this effort, the SSA safeguards in place to concern, let me go back here. As part of this, the SSA has safeguards in place to ensure that it does not update records for individuals who are still alive. No instances have arisen to date where an implausibly old individual whose record Social Security updated actually contacted the agency for reinstatement. The Social Security Administration has a process in place to reinstate individuals in its records if the agency ever makes an error. They have also processes for safeguarding taxpayer dollars, stewarding taxpayer dollars, and ensuring program integrity. The SSA has announced that it will increase the default overpayment withholding rate for old age survivors and disability insurance, OASDI beneficiaries from 10% of a person's monthly benefit, resulting in an increase in overpayment recovery. Now, this is a program savings of about $7 billion in the next decade. The Social Security Administration has announced the immediate resumption of the Treasury Office Offset. The Treasury Offset Program, TOP, for debts accrued prior to March 2020. This decision came after a suspension of collections due to the economic challenges posed by the COVID-19 pandemic. Since 1992, the Social Security Office has deferred or referred delinquent OASDI and supplemental Social Security income, and debts to TOP as maintained Okay, let's go back here. Since 1992, the Social Security Administration has referred delinquent OASDI and supplemental Social Security income, SSI, debts to TOP as mandated by law. Prior to the suspension in March 2020, the Social Security Administration has successfully collected almost $2 billion in previously unrecoverable delinquent debt through TOP. The program is essential for maintaining the integrity of the OASDI and SSI programs. Now, they're also trying to improve payment accuracy. The Social Security Administration has phased the rollout of the Payroll Information Exchange, the PIE, after years of delays. PI allows the agency to receive automated wage information directly from payroll data providers, and this information is going out. The data exchange improves payment accuracy and reduces improper payments and eases the reporting burden on individuals and results in a more efficient use of the Social Security Administration's limited administrative resources. It's estimated that the PIE will save $1.1 billion in OASDI and SSI benefit payments over the next 10 years. In addition to $1.8 billion in federal SSI payment savings over the same period of time, for a total of $2.9 billion in savings through benefit payments with SSDI and OASDI. Okay? They're expanding health information technology as well. The SSA is renewing its focus on expanding partnerships within the health IT program, which facilitates electronic data exchanges for faster disability determinations. This initiative not only expedites the benefits process for applicants, but also saves taxpayer money by reducing the costs associated with collecting medical records, such as each year SSA receives 3 million new applications for disability benefits and spends over $5 million to collect medical records for applicants. Isn't that unreal? They receive 3 million new applications for disability benefits, but they spend over $500 million to collect medical records for applicants. Unreal. Cost reduction and enhancement plan for Social Security number verifications. This is important. This is where all of you come in here. The Social Security Administration has developed a comprehensive plan to improve the electronic consent-based Social Security number verification plan. They have a comprehensive plan to improve the electronic consent-based Social Security number verification. This initiative is designed to ensure the continued viability of that program while addressing the needs of the customers, you and I, including the financial industry and various government bodies. Highlights of the plan include a phased approach to reducing operating costs by up to 40%, lowering user fees by approximately 25%, which allows for greater accessibility while still meeting cost recovery requirements, and providing more detailed information in no-match results, which aids in decision-making. Implementation of the hearing recording and transcription heart system. SSA is set to complete the nationwide rollout of the heart system, which replaces the outdated hardware with a software solution for recording and transcribing hearings. This AI-enabled tool is expected to approximately $5 million annually. They think it will save up to $5 million annually while ensuring due process through more accurate transcripts. They're also trying to raise awareness against scams. A lot of people got scammed. In collaboration with the SSA Office of the Inspector General, the OIG, SSA continues to raise public awareness about Social Security-related scams. SSA and OIG co-sponsored the 6th annual Slam the Scam Day on March 6th, highlighting the steps the public can take to protect themselves and their loved ones from Social Security imposter scams. Now, I heard a memo come out of Social Security about a month ago that they have probably close to 1 million telephone calls from scammers every month. 1 million claims by scammers for Social Security every month. And yet, their offices are still operating. This type of scam where fraudsters pretend to be SSA employees and mislead victims into sharing personal information or making cash wire transfers or card gift payments to fix alleged Social Security number problems. Remember, if someone tries to call you and scam you and mislead you to thinking that they are the Social Security employees, call the police, call the sheriff's office. Call the police, hang up on them, and call the police and call the sheriff's office. Okay? Don't ever let somebody mislead you to thinking they are from the Social Security and they want to make a cash or wire transfer to them from you, or even get you to buy gift cards to pay for their fraud attempts. Don't buy it. Don't buy it, guys. Now, talking about enhanced communication and transparency, and keeping with President Trump's belief that good government must serve the people. The Social Security has regularly published updates on agency operations and across all of its communication channels, and they will continue to do so. This includes publishing on Social Security's website key information and performance data that was previously available only to Social Security employees. The agency regularly updates the data so the public can see how the agency is doing. The public can access a webpage at SSA.gov/SSA-performance. SSA.gov/SSA-performance. That's about Social Security. Does anybody have any questions about Social Security and the information I just gave you? I want to make sure you understand what they're saying here. I think it's very important. I think this is very important. Richard Smith says, is the text still working? I think it is. Can anybody give us a chat here and make sure that the chat is still working here? It's still working as far as I know. I just put up a hello in the chat. It works. I would hope that it's working. That's great. That's great. Now, Charlene's here in the chat. I want to thank Charlene today. She sent us a card here. She sent us a card, a really cool card, thanking us all over the place, and she also sent her donation. Thanks for people like you. Isn't that a cool card? It's a very cool card. Albert Sanchez just got put in himself as an EMA Chat 1, an EMA member 1. Thanks, Al. I appreciate you, brother. Now, in this card here, she wrote us several notes here. Hello, Dr. Ron and Mrs. Ron Tyler. I'm grateful for your program discussion related to civil preparedness in a natural catastrophe. Since dismantling nuclear power plants, the Russians' threat for democracy, I fear Americans are asleep while facing World War II generation. Your programming is so enlightening, and I try to see it as every chance I can. I wrote you for 4 years ago and explained a vision quest that every salient volcano will awaken devastation, not knowing humanity. So I began the following of your programming religiously, and I've been loyal ever since, and the dream of a 9 to 10.0 in the Pacific Northwest haunts me. So after living in Vancouver, Washington for 26 years, I moved to Sulphur Springs, New Mexico, or Arkansas, Sulphur Springs, Arkansas, to perhaps my home. But it is built on an ancient lava plug, a volcanic bed, a volcanic caldera. Yeah, over in the pneumatic seismic zone. There are two volcanoes over there. One over there in Arkansas, in the Ozarks, and one over in Missouri as well. Charlene goes on to say, I appreciate you, your show and the education, knowledge, and awareness nightly. I ask you add me as a channel member. I'm going to try to do that. Now, Charlene says she's visually impaired. She finds navigating the computer most difficult as an elderly woman. I'm adding an enclosed check here. She sent us a donation, Brother Ron, in support of what you do for me, humanity and geological earthquake awareness. You're very special and very appreciated for what you do. God bless you, Charlene. A huge, beautiful card and a note from her as well. Charlene, I want to thank you for that card. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I showed it to Carol and she almost cried. She thinks it's cool as well. Thank you for that. Does anybody have any questions? Now, today, President Trump met with the new Canadian Prime Minister who was just elected this past week. Now, we all were thinking that the Canadian Prime Minister would not do what the people want him to do. We were all thinking that he would not be able to get along with Trump either. Well, guess what? Apparently, they had a great meeting. Trump and the Canadian Prime Minister had a great meeting. I'm going to try to do something here.
Do you have a car?
I'm going to try to put up a overview of their meeting today in the Oval Office. The Canadian Prime Minister visited with President Trump for probably close to an hour and a half, maybe longer. They may have even had lunch together. But I want to show you this. I think it's important. We've had long discussions about what is going on in Canada. I want to show you this. Give me a second here. I know I should have done this before I even came on the air. Let me key this up for you.
Yeah. No. Well, I still believe that, but you know, it takes two to tango, right? But no, I do. I mean, I believe it would be a massive tax cut for the Canadian citizens. You get free military, you get tremendous medical cares and other things. There would be a lot of advantages, but it would be a massive tax cut. And it's also a beautiful, you know, as a real estate developer, you know, I'm a real estate developer at heart. When you get rid of that artificially drawn line, somebody drew that line many years ago with like a ruler, just a straight line right across the top of the country. When you look at that beautiful formation when it's together, I'm a very artistic person, but when I looked at that beauty, I said, that's the way it was meant to be. But, you know, I do feel it's much better for Canada, but we're not going to be discussing that unless somebody wants to discuss it. I think that there are tremendous benefits to the Canadian citizens, tremendously lower taxes, free military, which honestly we give you essentially anyway because we're protecting Canada if you ever had a problem. But I think it would really be a wonderful marriage because it's two places that get along very well. They like each other a lot.
Well, if I may, as you know from real estate, there are some places that are never for sale.
That's true.
We're sitting in one right now, Buckingham Palace that you visited as well.
That's true.
And having met with the owners of Canada over the course of the campaign last several months, it's not for sale, won't be for sale ever. But the opportunity is in the partnership and what we can build together. And we have done that in the past. And part of that, as the president just said, is with respect to our own security. And my government is committed for a step change in our investment in Canadian security and our partnership. And I'll say this as well, that the president has revitalized international security, revitalized NATO, and us playing our full weight in NATO, and that will be part of it.
True. And they have, I must say, Canada is stepping up the military participation because Mark knew, they were low and now they're stepping it up, and that's a very important thing. But never say never. Never say never.
Never say never. They spent about a half hour, maybe 45 minutes talking with each other today. I monitored it on YouTube. It was available on all the major news outlets across the world, literally. CNN to the British Broadcasting System, the BBC. Unreal. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. But Canada's not for sale. Canada and the United States are getting along just fine, and things are going to continue to get better. Charlene says Canada may not be for sale, but her resources, oil, gas, and R&D, a pipeline developing the last frontier is profitable for corporations. True. Not for Native nations, indigenous for thousands of years. That's probably true as well. Probably very true as well. Does anybody have any questions about what happened in the Oval Office today between the Canadian Prime Minister and the U.S. President? I want to clear up anything that you guys might have questions about. I saw it. I saw it live. Anybody have any questions? Mark Connie said he had a very constructive discussion with President Trump today. Their first face-to-face meeting since he got elected. And President Trump told the Prime Minister that he watched the election almost by the minute. He said it was a very good election and that the Canadian Prime Minister Carney did a very good debate as well. Richard Smith says, owners of Canada? Yes, Britain. The British Crown owns Canada. I believe that's who they were talking about. Heidi Patrick says, I assume that is new Prime Minister. Yes, that's Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney. He's replacing Trudeau, and I was told weeks ago that he was probably worse than Trudeau was. But so far, I'm seeing good things from Prime Minister Carney. Charlene's asking, why are we required to have a Social Security card? Because at some time, you may already now be getting Social Security from the government. In order to get Social Security, you have to have a Social Security number, and thus a Social Security card. I didn't understand this until maybe the last 10 years. I understand it perfectly now. Richard Smith says Darth Vader Carney. We'll see. He might be Darth Vader. He may very well be Darth Vader. I'm willing right now to give him the benefit of the doubt, and I don't do that just for anybody. I don't do it. I never have. But from what I saw in today's meeting in the Oval Office, President Trump had part of his cabinet on his side of the room, and Mark Carney had his prime ministers on the other side. And apparently they had a good time. They talked constructively between everybody. It was very profitable for both sides. I hope that continues. I do hope that continues. Do I have any other questions here? Any other questions? Now, if we don't have any other questions, I'm going to continue with the rest of tonight's program. The first thing I want to do is talk about earthquakes worldwide. I'm going to start with a few minutes of earthquakes worldwide. I'm going to take down our EMA banner. You're not going to see my webcam for a few minutes here. Let's talk about earthquakes worldwide. Okay. First off, down here in the Central Pacific Ocean, this is the largest earthquake of the day. This is a very large 5.8 earthquake over here in the Eastern Pacific Ocean. This is the Central East Pacific Ridge. It's on this earthquake fault out here in the Pacific Ocean. It's called the Central East Pacific Rise. The Central East Pacific Rise here. A very large 5.8 earthquake hit early this morning at approximately, well, no, not this morning, I'm sorry, this afternoon at approximately 2:15 p.m. this afternoon. 2:15 p.m. this afternoon. Okay, that's the largest earthquake of the day. While we're over here in South America, let's go over here into Ecuador. This is a 4.2 earthquake over here in the Andes Mountains, the eastern Andes Mountains of Ecuador. A 4.2 moderate earthquake. This is 161 kilometers deep. Going south, over here into Chile. Just because USGS are not showing any other earthquakes doesn't mean they didn't happen. There are over 28 earthquakes here in South America today. 28 earthquakes here in South America today, unless they've taken some down. But they're not showing here on the USGS map. They never will. Going over here in the northern areas of northern provinces of Chile. This is a 4.4 moderate earthquake here. This is near Tirana, Chile. 76 kilometers south of Tirana, Chile. Tarapacá, Chile area. 4.4 earthquake is 61 kilometers deep. Going south and east, the tops of the Andes Mountains. This is at the borderline of the Chile and Argentine countries here. The borderline here in the Andes Mountains. This is another 4.4 moderate earthquake here. This is 207 kilometers deep. 4.4 moderate earthquake, 207 kilometers deep. At the border of Chile and Argentina. San Antonio de los Cobres, Argentina. We've heard that name many times because we've had many, many earthquakes in this region here. Now, there are more earthquakes over here in central Chile, but they're not talking about it. There's one 4.0, and the rest are all 3.0 to 3.9 earthquakes here in central Chile, along the coastal areas of central Chile. Okay? Let's go over here into the Pacific Ocean. Let's go over here to the Tonga region. This is a large 5.0 earthquake here, and this is 170 kilometers east-northeast of Oahu, Tonga. Oahu, Tonga. 5.0 earthquake, 10 kilometers deep, 6.2 miles deep. Up here to the north, this is a 4.6 moderate earthquake. They're saying this is 256 kilometers deep. 256 kilometers deep. This is still a fairly moderately shallow quake. A moderately shallow quake. This is 169 kilometers west-northwest of Niafu, Tonga, the capital of Tonga here. Let's zoom in here. Let me show you where it's at. Okay. Right here is Niafu, Tonga here. This is out in the Pacific. So far, neither of these earthquakes have been anywhere near land. Neither one of these earthquakes are anywhere near land here. Okay. Now let's go south here. This is a large 5.0 earthquake south of the Fiji Islands. Large 5.0 earthquake south of the Fiji Islands. This is a deep earthquake. This is 582 kilometers deep. 582 kilometers deep. This will propagate. This will birth a larger, shallower earthquake. This is going to birth a 6.0 to a 6.2 earthquake. This will birth a 6.0 to a 6.2 earthquake sometime within the next 3 to 10 days. 3 to 10 days for another 6.0, probably in this region. Yes, we have seen times in the last 6 years that I've been doing this program where we've actually seen an earthquake travel from the Fiji Tonga area over here to South America, to Chile or Argentina, down here in the southern part of South America. Only once. Most of these earthquakes are still here in this region here, in the South Pacific. They stay here in Fiji, Tonga, Wallis Futuna, Legacy Islands, or Vanuatu, usually. They could go over here to Vanuatu to the northwest. They could travel over here to the Solomon Islands right here. They could do that. Or they could go over further west over here to Papua New Guinea. They could also go south to New Zealand. Okay, that could happen. Again, this is New Zealand. USBS is not showing any earthquakes here. Why not? Why not? 23 earthquakes here in New Zealand. Most of them on or north of the North Island of New Zealand. Okay, there are a handful, small handful of earthquakes down here on the South Island of New Zealand. But most of those are here on or north of the North Island of New Zealand here. That happens. That happens. So far, I don't know of any 4.0 or large earthquakes. They didn't exist about an hour or so ago when I last checked. Now, let's go over here to Papua New Guinea. Right here. This is a 4.8 earthquake. A moderate 4.8 earthquake here. It's not on land, it's out in the ocean here. This is a 4.8 moderate earthquake, 10 kilometers deep. I believe the ocean waters absorbed the shockwaves of this quake. Also, look where this quake is. It's right on top of the plate, right on top of the earthquake fault here. Let's back out here. As I back out here, look where these earthquake faults are. Look where our present day earthquakes are. Even this one over, this is east-northeast of Oahuhuna, Tonga. This is on the Tongan Trench. This is on the Tongan Trench. This earthquake and this earthquake here are also part of either that trench or the Fiji Trench that runs south over here into New Zealand. Both the Tongan Trench and the Fiji Trench run over here into New Zealand. Those are just part of the 7 different tectonic plates. 7 different tectonic plates here. This earthquake here is part of a tectonic plate here, tectonic plate system here in Vanuatu, South Pacific. This is also a 5.5 earthquake. A 5.5, very large earthquake. This happened at 13:45 p.m., 1:45 p.m. Eastern Time today. We talked about this earthquake, this 4.8 over here in Papua New Guinea. Also over here, Angoram, Papua New Guinea. This is also a 5.3 earthquake on land this time. On land. Notice this earthquake is also on the tectonic plate. There are 7 different tectonic plates in this region. 7 different tectonic plates in this region, reaching over to the west to Tonga and Samoa, all the way up over here to the east. They stretch from the east side of Tonga and Samoa all the way over here to the west side of Myanmar and India over here. 7 different tectonic plates in this region, including Indonesia. Notice that they're only showing 2 earthquakes in Papua, Indonesia, and 1 other earthquake in northern Indonesia. There are 28 earthquakes here in Indonesia today. 28 earthquakes, and USGS has shown us 2. USGS is showing us 2. There are earthquakes down here in Timor, earthquakes over here in Eastern Java, earthquakes over here in Sumatra. Yeah, over here in central Indonesia, and going over here into northern Indonesia. The earthquakes. But USGS has decided they're not going to show them. Interesting enough. Not good enough in my opinion. Now over here is another 4.6 earthquake. This is near Aveyah, Indonesia. Aveyah, Indonesia. This is a very, very, very famous area for earthquakes. Aveyah has gotten hit many, many times over the past 6 years that I've been doing this program. This is a 4.6 earthquake. Okay? This is also 196 kilometers southwest of Aveyah, Indonesia. Okay? 57 kilometers deep. On the plate boundary. On the plate boundary here. Further over here to the northwest here. There's also another plate boundary here. This is a 4.6 earthquake here near Biak, Indonesia. B-I-A-K, Indonesia. This is 27.4 kilometers deep. Okay? There's 7 different tectonic plates in this region, stretching all the way up here into Japan. Yes, into Japan. Over here, off the northwest coast of Honshu, this is a 4.5 earthquake here. Okay? Richard Smith is saying major popping, things are snapping, crackling, popping. Yeah, they are. Richard Smith says the old eggshell is getting ready to be scrambled, pretty much. But over here, off the northeast shore of Honshu, Japan, this is a 4.5 earthquake here. Ofunatu, Japan. Ofunatu, Japan. Now, folks, the last time we had a major earthquake here, a major earthquake in 9.0, major damage here. This is just a 4.5 moderate earthquake here, just barely offshore, 42 kilometers south-southeast of Ofunatu, Japan, 74 kilometers deep. Over here in the Sea of Japan here, look where this earthquake is. Also on the plate boundary here. 4.0 earthquake here in the Sea of Japan, off the northwest coast of Honshu. 4.0, 113 kilometers west-northwest of Fukuoka, Japan. This earthquake is moderately small, 235 kilometers deep, still a fairly shallow quake. 4.0 earthquake here today. We go north, over here into the Sea of Okhotsk. southwest of Kamchatka Peninsula. This is also 4.2 moderate quake, 417 kilometers deep. This is a moderately deep quake. 418 kilometers deep in the Sea of Okhotsk, a 4.2 moderate quake. Let's go over to the Rat Islands, the Aleutian Islands here. This is also 4.2 earthquake in the Rat Islands, 120 kilometers deep, 4.2 earthquake here, moderate earthquake. Now you don't see any other earthquakes here in the Aleutian Islands or the southern peninsula of Alaska here. Go over here into the Gulf of Alaska here. This is a 3.4 earthquake here. This is 247 kilometers southeast of Chignac, Alaska, out here in the Gulf of Alaska. 3.4 earthquake here. I'm going to zoom in here, and I'm only going to talk about several earthquakes here. I'm not going to spend a lot of time here in Alaska. Over here, near Old Ilama Volcano here, only one earthquake here, 2.0. 2.0 minor earthquake here, 24 kilometers deep. Let's go north. The earthquakes here are in the, well, we have two earthquakes being shown here in the tremor is near Clam Gulch, Alaska. The one further south here is near Anchor Point, 59 kilometers west of Anchor Point. Guess where Anchor Point is? Anchor Point is over here. Anchor Point is over here. Why are they showing this earthquake? Visually showing this earthquake is closer to Anchor Point. It's not. It's not. This is over to the western shore of the Alaska Peninsula. Why are they not showing this earthquake here? Exactly where it's at. Because USGS does not think they have to abide by realistic law. Realistic law. They don't have to tell us exactly where anything's going on. That's a fallacy. It's a lie. It's a lie. They need to be telling us exactly where these earthquakes are. For example, this earthquake here. They say this is 45 kilometers northeast of Pedro Bay. No, it's not. It absolutely is not. This is northwest of Pedro Bay. Northwest of Pedro Bay. 3.2 earthquake here. Further north, right here. This is Mount Redoubt. Mount Redoubt volcano. Off and on, it's steaming. Out here in the Cook Inlet here is a 1.6 tremor. They say this is 46 kilometers west-northwest of Clam Gulch. It's not that. Okay? It's not north-northwest. It is west-southwest of Clam Gulch. Right there. Okay? Again, Mount Redoubt's right there. That's just one volcano. Let's go north here. We have an earthquake right here. Tynek, Alaska. 1.2 tremor here. We go across the Cook Inlet here. A new earthquake. A new earthquake. This earthquake happened near Hope, Alaska. 28 kilometers southwest of Hope, Alaska. It's actually southeast of Hope, Alaska. 3.8 earthquake here. 3.8 small earthquake here. This is 43 kilometers deep. Let's go north. Right here. This is Anchorage, Alaska. Anchorage, Alaska. Guess what? Mount Spur is moving. Mount Spur is moving here. Mount Spur is allegedly 75 kilometers northwest of Anchorage. Mount Spur is still showing some earthquakes and tremors here. Mount Spur may be getting ready to erupt, but it has not erupted yet. It has not erupted yet. Okay? Yes, we have earthquakes over here around there. This is Scranton, Alaska, 1.7 tremor here. Further northwest here is also 2.5 earthquake, 18 kilometers west-southwest of Scranton, Alaska. Going north, here's a 2.0, minor 2.0 earthquake. Let's go north here. Guess what? Now we're up in the southern Denali National Park, 1.7 tremor. To the northeast, this is 1.4, also in Denali. Up here, this is a 3.7. This is a 3.7 south of Mount McKinley. South of Mount McKinley, 3.7. Up here at Mount McKinley, a 2.0 earthquake here. Northeast of Mount McKinley, on the foothills of Mount McKinley here, is a 2.1 earthquake, minor 2.1 earthquake. Further out here east, USGS is showing this as a 1.4 tremor. They're saying it is south-southeast of Denali. It's not. It's not. It is northwest of Denali National Park. Northwest of Denali National Park. 1.4 tremor here. Okay? Let's back out here. I want to go up here. Up here. This is 4 Mile Road, Alaska. This is another 3.6 small earthquake. Why are we here? Because, folks, this was the location of a 5.1 earthquake here 2 years ago. A 5.1 earthquake here 2 years ago, which makes this 3.6 an aftershock. Over here to the northeast, this is 1.3 tremor here. Let's go almost directly north of the 3.7. This is a 1.4. 1.4 tremor here. Folks, let's back up here. This is south of Stevens Village, Alaska. South of Stevens Village, Alaska. 1.4 tremor here. We don't have any other earthquakes that are north of the Arctic Circle. We have no other earthquakes north of the Arctic Circle here. Okay? Now, let's go down here into the Pacific Northwest. Yes, we have some earthquakes. We do have some earthquakes. Let's go over here to the Puget Sound area. Guess what? Look where this earthquake is. USGS is saying this is a 0.7 explosion. They're saying it's a 0.7 explosion. It's not. It's a 0.7 microquake out here in guys, the water, the Puget Sound. This is not exploding coniferous. This is not a spontaneous combustion coniferous. It's a spontaneous agua. I don't understand where US gets off putting these earthquakes in the middle of the water, saying there's an explosion. This is the third time in 6 years I've seen USGS say an explosion in the water is just that. It's not. This is a microquake. The 0.7 microquake here in the Puget Sound area. Let's go almost directly south here. This is a 1.5 here near Ludlow, Washington. This is over here near the Puget Sound area. 1.5 tremor here. This happens to be 4 miles deep. 8.5 kilometers deep. 4 miles deep here. Okay? Guess what? They're not showing any other earthquakes but this one here. This one is over here. west-southwest of Niall, Washington. West-southwest of Niall, Washington. This is east of Mount Rainier. East of Mount Rainier. Further to the northeast here. This one is near Ellensburg, Washington. This time they're calling this an explosion. Let's zoom in here and see where this explosion really was. It's way out here in the hills. Way out here in the hills. Guess what? This is a volcanic area. This is a volcanic area. Look where it's at. It's in a volcanic field. This is a lava field. This is very much a lava field. There is no explosion out here. There's no quarry blast, no nothing. This was a 2.0 earthquake. A minor 2.0 earthquake here. And this is 9 kilometers south of Ellensburg, Washington. Ellensburg, Washington. Lava field. A good old lava field. Okay? Incredible what they want to pound this off as. Let's go over to Mount Rainier. I just love this. This is a 0.2 earthquake here. 0.2 microquake in the foothills of Mount Rainier. I'm about to show you all seismograms from all these volcanoes and seismograms from various places along the coastline, Washington and Oregon. Guess what? This is not the only earthquake event happening here at Mount Rainier. But they're only showing this. Why not? Because they don't want to admit that anything's happening here at Mount Rainier. There is. I'm going to show you plenty of earthquakes in just a few minutes. Let's go south here. Mount St. Helens. They're not showing anything here. Well, guess what? What I have to show you here will blow your mind. Mount St. Helens is very significantly active, and so is Mount Rainier. Okay? I'm going to show you earthquakes down here at Mount Hood. I'm going to show you earthquakes over here at Newberry Volcano. I'm going to show you earthquakes here at Bachelor. I'm also going to show you earthquakes down here at Crater Lake, at Sisters Volcanoes. I'm going to show you all kinds of seismic information here. I'm going to show you that along the coastline of Washington, Oregon, there are earthquakes here. Plenty of earthquakes, regardless of what the agency says there is. The agency is lying through their teeth. Lying through their teeth. They're talking about this earthquake over here between the Blanco fracture zone, I should say, the Blanco fracture zone and Bandon, Oregon. Between the Blanco fracture zone and the Cascadia subduction zone. Right here, smack dab in the middle between the Blanco fracture zone and the Cascadia subduction zone off of Bandon, Oregon. Interesting. This is a 3.1 earthquake here. 10 kilometers deep. 6.2 miles deep. Are we ready to see what's actually going on here? I hope you are, because we're going to show you right now. We're going to show you right now. We're going to show you that USBS has no clue what they're talking about. Literally. Literally and figuratively. USBS and the other agencies are lying through their teeth. Let's go up here to the northern border of Washington and Canada. This is just south of the Canadian border. Folks, this is a volcano. A volcano, guys. Mount Baker. This is Mount Baker. This is the Baker main seismograph. Look what we're showing you. Harmonic tremors. More harmonic tremors here. Last week we talked about harmonic tremors at the volcanoes and other places. Guess what, guys? Harmonic tremors are back. Harmonic tremors are still going here. Let me show you some more here at Mount Baker. I want to show you also what is going on at Shuksan Ski Resort on the north side of Mount Baker. Look at this. Look at these earthquakes and tremors. You tell me what's going on here. Mount Baker is very, very active. Baker volcano is very, very active. Richard Smith is asking, can we show us the Canadian seismic site for the West Coast? Yes, we can. Give me a minute, I'll bring that up. But again, look at the seismic energy here at Mount Baker. Shuksan Ski Resort on Mount Baker. Incredible. Just incredible. This is ongoing. This has been ongoing for some time. Mount Baker's also had some earthquakes. They've had some earthquakes. Ongoing earthquakes here. Ongoing earthquakes here. Everybody here should be concerned. They should be concerned because the agency doesn't want to tell us what's going on. The agency does not want to tell us what's going on. Why? Why? Because they know darn well where there are earthquakes and what's going on. They darn well know that this volcano, as well as others, are getting ready to erupt. That's what's going on. Back to back, side to side, top to bottom earthquakes and tremors. That's what's going on here about Baker. It's unreal what they want us to believe and not believe. They don't want to show us this. There's a reason. There's a reason they don't want to show us this. Unfortunately. I feel for them. I feel for them. Excuse me. Let me get a drink of water. Charlene is saying lava infusion. Oh, yeah. Incoming lava. Incoming magma, I should say. Incoming magma to this volcano. Unreal. Now, I'm going to show you, Richard asked me to show you a map of Western Canada. I can do that. But the entire map is not coming up. I am, however, going to show you some of the earthquakes that are happening there. Earthquakes that have happened during the past several days. So let me take this seismogram down for just a minute. I want to show you this. This is Earthquakes Canada, guys. This is the Earthquake Canada page. Now I'm going to move it here so you can see the earthquake page here. Now it's not showing you exact locations on the map. It's not showing you exact locations on the map. This earthquake here, okay? This near Let me blow this map up just a little bit so you can see what we're talking about. This near Beijing Gids, British Columbia. Okay. This earthquake happened on April 21st. Happened on April 21st. Now, I'm going to take that one down. That one happened over a week ago. Let's go up to this red earthquake right here. This is a 2.2 earthquake here. This is near Haines Junction, Alaska. This is further north along that same fault line that comes off of the Cascadia subduction zone once it passes Haida Gwaii, Haines Junction, Alaska, Yukon Territories. 2.9 earthquake here. 2.9 earthquake here. Okay. Let's go over here to the east here. Now, folks, this is a 3.0 earthquake. This happened on the 1st of May. The 1st of May. Okay? But we're not showing any present day earthquake except for that one in Haines Junction. Okay? But there's still plenty of earthquakes happening here along the West Coast. And actually, I think we have another one right here. Yes, that we have. This is a 2.7 here. This happened on April 29th, just 7 days ago. 7 days ago. Now I'm going to blow this up a bit so we can truly see what's going on here. This isn't this. Now the map comes up. That's great. This is off the coast of Vancouver Island. Off the coast of Vancouver Island, this is a 1.6 microquake here. This earthquake happened today. This is a 2.3 microquake or 2.3 minor earthquake here. 2.3 minor earthquake. This is the red earthquake that you're showing right here on your screen. Okay. Again, this is off the central coast of Vancouver Island. Okay. Now it appears there may be one other earthquake that's happened today right there. Yes, this earthquake happened today. This is a 2.3 earthquake here. 2.3 minor earthquake here. They're not showing any other earthquakes here currently today. Right here on Vancouver Island, this happened on April 1st. This is a 3.3 earthquake here. This gives you a good idea of what's actually going on. Okay. The old earthquakes are over a week or two out back in May or April, back in April. Okay. That's what's going on here. Let's go back here and talk about the seismic energy here in Washington and Oregon now. Again, this is Mount Baker. Good old Mount Baker. Let me show you the HHN channel. This particular seismograph on Mount Baker is a multi-channel seismograph. And as a result, we can see many channels. One of those channels is what they call the HHN channel, which shows us the very low frequency waves of the magma coming into the volcano. That's what you see right here. The wavy lines here show magma coming into the volcano. Up at the top, 5 p.m. at the top line here. 5 p.m. yesterday. Very little. There is magma coming in, but it's not actively under huge pressure. Under huge pressure. But as yesterday afternoon and evening wore on, until the early morning hours of this morning. Guess what? Guess what? We have more active magma. The tighter the visual waves here, the more magma coming into the volcano. This is big time. This is really big time, guys. Okay? A lot of magma. From 4 a.m. on down to literally all afternoon today. A lot of magma coming into the magma chamber here at Mount Baker. But we're not really showing a lot of earthquakes. We're not showing many earthquakes at all. But we are showing harmonic tremors. Harmonic tremors here. A lot of them. A lot of them. This is also the Baker main channel. Harmonic tremors here. Mount Baker is very active. Very, very active. Now, I want to go down to Glacier Peak. I want to go 40 miles southwest of Mount Baker. I want to show you Glacier Peak now. Look at this. Here you're seeing tremors here. Tremors. These are not harmonic, these are just tremors here. Up at the top of this. Up at the top of this here. Guess what? We've got earthquake. We've got an earthquake. This earthquake happened at 6:50, just after 6:15 p.m. This one happened at 6:24 p.m. last night. A 2.8 earthquake. 6:24 p.m. last night. However, we have a bunch of other tremors here, don't we? But down here at the bottom on the black line here. Down here at the bottom on the black line. This is 2:17 p.m. this afternoon. Another 2.8 earthquake here. 2.8 earthquake here at Glacier Peak. So yes, we're having seismic energy here at both these volcanoes now. We're showing a lot of seismic energy. Tremors and regular earthquakes. Tremors and regular earthquakes here. Guess what, guys? Let's look along the coastline now. Let's look along the coastline now. Let's go over to let's go to Grayland, Washington. Look at this. We have some thick lines here at the top. Not really thick, but we have minorly thick lines. What we're seeing here is magma coming into the magma channels headed for a volcano. Thin lines getting thinner or getting thicker. Okay? Magma coming in towards the volcanoes through magma channels here in the ground. Okay? Let's look down here. Let's look down here. I want to show you what is actually going on here. Okay? Let's look seriously at what's going on here. After 1:30 this morning, on the left-hand side, you see 01. That is 0100 this morning, 1 a.m. this morning. This blue line on the left-hand side would be 1:30. So about 1:03 this morning, we see some tremors, don't we? Tremors going on through about 1:39, 1:40. Just tremors. Tremors. What happened here? What happened here? The black line here would be 10 a.m. We don't see much of anything happening. But the red line just above it would be 10:15 here. Over here above it, we see some tremors here that happened at 10:06 or 10:21, 10:22 this morning. The blue line here would be 10:30 on the left-hand side. Just before 10:33, we have a 2.5, 2.6 earthquake. We have tremors building up before that. Very little after that. 2.2, 2.5 earthquake. Further over here to the right, 10:36, 2.5, 2.6 earthquake here. Then over here on the left-hand side below that, on the black line, here we're seeing just before 1:01 p.m. this afternoon. This is a 2.7, 2.8 earthquake this afternoon. On the red line below that, okay, this would be 1:17 this afternoon. This is a 2.8 earthquake. A 2.8 earthquake here. Gray line, Washington, along the coastline. There's more than that. Let me show you more. I want to show you Fort Rock, Washington. Actually, no. Fort Rock, Oregon. But that I'm going to show you in a few minutes. I want to stay here in Washington. Let's go over to Grays Harbor, Washington, here. Look at this. Look at this. Yesterday evening, up at the top on the black line would be 5 p.m. on the left-hand side. Yes, we're seeing some thicker lines. We're also seeing some vertical lines on that. Those vertical lines are fracturing the rock inside the lava chamber here, the magma chamber here. Okay, we see thinner lines and thicker lines. Magma pulse signals. Okay, yes, we're seeing some tremors here. Quite a bit of tremors. 5:15 on the red line above that is 5:15. The black line is just after 5 p.m. on the left-hand side. We come down here further, we see more and more tremors here. However, what happened this afternoon after 3:15? Down here in the bottom on the left-hand side is 1500, 3 p.m., 3:15. The red line is 3:15. 3:17, we have another 2.8 earthquake. We have a 2.8 earthquake, we have tremors leading up to it, and we have 3 minutes of secondary wave. 3 minutes of secondary wave. This is a 2.8, 2.9 earthquake. 2.8, 2.9 earthquake, guys. This is along the coastline of Washington. The coastline of Washington. And yet USGS would have us believe by looking at their site, look at their map, that there's nothing going on. Nothing going on. Really? Let's take another good look at it. I'm about to show you more seismographs here. Let's go over to Guaymas Island. Guemas Island here, Washington. Look at this. This is along the coastline. What are we seeing here? Harmonic tremors. Interesting. Harmonic tremors here. Magma beneath the surface here, right? You're right. We're also seeing thicker lines here. thicker and thinner lines. Magma going through magma chambers headed over to volcanoes. Magma going to magma chambers at volcanoes here, through magma channels here along the coastline. Magma coming off the Pacific Ocean heading to volcanoes here. Folks, if this doesn't teach you to be prepared, nothing will. Because USGS is not showing anything. Yet I am showing you plenty of activity here. Plenty of activity that you should be concerned about. Yes, these are tremors. These are tremors. At the most, we have maybe 2 or 3 minor earthquakes. 2.0 minor earthquakes. That's all. All of this is tremor activity. Some of this is related to magma, though, beneath the surface. Some of this is related to magma beneath the surface here. Let's keep going here. Okay? Let's keep going here. I want to show you now Johns Point, Lopez Island. Johns Point, Lopez Island here. Look at this. Yes, we're seeing a lot of tremors here. A bunch of tremors here. Especially after 5:30 last night. Look at those tremors. But down here, yes, a lot of these tremors are related to magma. Magma beneath the surface. You can see these vertical lines here. The vertical lines here represent rock fracturing. Rock fracturing in the magma tunnel here, headed towards the volcano. Down here towards the bottom, on the left-hand side, this would be 2:15 p.m. Over here, we have 2:25 p.m. here on the red line. This is a 2.8, 2.9 earthquake. 2.8, 2.9 earthquake here on the red line. Guys, that is a minor earthquake. That is a minor earthquake. However, it's a very strong minor earthquake. No, it can't be felt yet. This earthquake cannot be felt yet. But another small matter, it could be. 2.8, 2.9 can very easily turn into a small earthquake where it would be felt. Only high magnitude 2s, 2.8, 2.9 can possibly be felt by very sensitive people. Okay? This is Lopez Island. Johns Point, Lopez Island, Washington. A bunch more here. How about Orcas Island, Washington? Orcas Island. Let's look at this. Look at this. Up at the top, all we see are tremors except for one. A 2.2 earthquake after 5:30 this afternoon, or yesterday afternoon. 5:30 yesterday afternoon. Okay? Maybe 5:37. Look at these other seismic events here. One just after 9 p.m. 9:03 p.m. last night, a 1.9 tremor. Look at the tremors before that. Look at the tremors after that. This would normally be probably 1.7. I say it's at 1.9 because we have secondary wave here. Secondary wave to the right here. Over on the left, right-hand side in the blue. On the left-hand side, this would be 9:15. Over here, this is 9:26. 9:26. Folks, we see a line getting thicker here. This is magma coming into a magma chamber. Okay? It's going through the magma chamber here beneath the ground, a magma tunnel headed for the volcano, Orcas Island. It's probably headed for Glacier Peak. Let's go down here late morning this afternoon. Late morning and this afternoon. Look at this. 8 a.m., 8:15 on the red. We have some minor earthquakes here as well. We have a good sized minor earthquake at 8:21 a.m. on the red line here. There are a bunch of tremors before it and after it. Okay? Probably a 2.0, 2.3 earthquake. Plenty of earthquakes here, 2.0s and larger here. Now there's maybe 2 earthquakes that I'm very concerned with. One is on the blue line after 10:30 this morning. Over on the left-hand side, you see 10 o'clock. The blue line here is 10:30. Over where you see this earthquake here, this is 10:36 this morning. This, folks, is a 2.93.0 earthquake. 2.93.0 earthquake. Yes, there was one primary wave. However, there were some other minor earthquakes that happened before that, because the center of this earthquake here is thick. The center of it is thick on both sides, before the primary wave happened and after the primary wave happened. Multiple earthquakes here. Multiple earthquakes here. Now I'm just going to show you the big earthquake here. Right here at the bottom on the blue line. The bottom on the blue line here. Folks, over on the left-hand side, this will be 2:30 this afternoon. This is 2:42 this afternoon here. Again, another 3.0 earthquake. 3.0 earthquake. There are plenty of other earthquakes here as well. Orcas Island, Washington, guys. Why did they not show these earthquakes on the earthquake map? Why did they not show these earthquakes on the earthquake map? The Canadians showed them. The Canadians showed the earthquakes offshore of Vancouver Island and around Vancouver Island as well. Why are we not showing those earthquakes? The preeminent seismic agency of the world. And we cannot even be honest with our own citizens here. We can't even be honest with our own citizens here. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding in the least. Let's talk about Loomy Island, Washington. Look here. Yes, we're having some tremors here. Look at this morning. Actually, last night. These are tremors and minor earthquakes. Tremors possibly a 2.02, maybe a 2.02, 2.0 earthquakes. Look what's happened today. On this red line here, on the red line on the left-hand side, this will be 12:15 noon this afternoon. This is a 2.3 earthquake. 2.3 earthquake that happened at 12:21 p.m. this afternoon. Another 1.8, 1.9 after that, and multiple other tremors here. Then on this blue line after 1:30 this afternoon. 1:38 this afternoon. A 3.3 earthquake here. A 3.3 earthquake here. Loomy Island here. I kid you not. They should be showing this earthquake here as well. They're not. They're not showing it at all. Folks, I have real problems with that. This whole area around the Juan de Fuca fault line, the Cascade subduction zone, the Strait of Juan de Fuca, and the Puget Sound is active, very active. We are about to incur a major earthquake. We are about to incur a major earthquake. And yet this agency won't even talk to us. This agency has no consolation for talking to anybody. They won't do it. They won't do it. Let me show you the Port of Walapa, Washington. The Port of Walapa, Washington, look at this. We used to show you earthquake after earthquake around this area. They used to have a seismogram at the Port of Walapa golf course. They've taken it down. They've taken it down because they had earthquakes there, and they don't want to be responsible for the earthquakes there. They don't want to be responsible for anything. Here at the Port of Walapa, Washington, yes, we are seeing some earthquakes. Yes, we are seeing some tremors. One earthquake here early this morning. 4:40 this morning. 4:40 this morning on this blue line on the right-hand side center. 3.3 earthquake. 3.3 earthquake. Unreal. Unreal. Walapa Harbor, Washington. You'd think that they'd want to be accurate and be talking about all the quakes and tremors up and down the coastline. They have no intent to being honest and letting everybody know what's going on. They're proving it. They're proving it. That's not all, folks. Wait till I show you what I have to show you now. I want to go over to Radar Ridge in South Washington. Look at this. Besides the slanting lines here, which basically show the ineptness of this seismologist that's tending this machine. We should not have all these slanted lines at all. It should never happen. But unfortunately, it happens too frequently here. Whether it be in Washington, Oregon, or anywhere else, it's happening too frequently. But look what we're seeing here. Harmonic tremors here. This is harmonic tremors along the coastline. What you're seeing here are harmonic tremors along the coastline of Washington State. This is active. Active magma here. Active magma here, guys. I wish this was fake, but it's not. It's happening up and down the whole coastline. Harmonic tremors and other earthquakes up and down the entire coastline of Washington, Oregon, and even California. I'm not kidding. I wish I was. It's bad enough having harmonic tremors as volcanoes. Major magma coming into the magma chamber causing these harmonic tremors. But guys, it's happening everywhere. Along the coastline, almost anywhere around Washington, Oregon at all. Anywhere. Literally anywhere. Let's look at Bend, Oregon right now. Look at this. This is Bend, Oregon, down south in Oregon. Tremor activity here. These are tiny tremors, but it's still tiny tremors here. Bend, Oregon. Let's keep going here. Let's go over to Fork Rock, Oregon. To give you an idea where Fort Rock is, look at here. This is along the coastline of Oregon. Let me show you the diagram showing you Fort Rock, Oregon. This doesn't blow your mind, nothing will. Harmonic tremors. Harmonic tremors. Guys, we have magma up and down the entire coastline. We have magma up and down the entire coastline, not just at volcanoes either. Magma movement. I wish I was wrong. The more research I did today, the more trouble I got into. The more research I did today, the more trouble I got into. Let's look at Ferndale, Washington. Look at this. Plenty of earthquakes here. Look at the thicker lines here. Look at these thicker lines here. Thicker lines showing more magma, the thinner lines showing less magma. Okay? Unreal. Unreal. Look at the earthquakes here. We have 2.0, 2.2 earthquakes here. This is after 6:20 p.m. last night. No, on the black line, this will be 6:10 p.m. I'm sorry. 6:10 p.m. last night. Then this black line after 2100, which would be after 9 p.m. 9:01 p.m. at 1.9, 2.0 earthquake. Look at the other tremors here. The tremor activity picked up here a lot after 4 a.m. this morning. As I said before, seismic activity turns down after, say, 8 or 9 o'clock at night, where the seismologist turned down the seismograph. The seismologist turned down the seismograph. That's when the seismic activity gets crazy. After they turn down the seismograph, we're still seeing tremors. That means these tremors are a lot stronger than they're showing here, because they have to make it past the electronic turn down. Unreal. Even after 4 a.m., I don't think the seismologist turned the seismograph up until probably 6 or 7 o'clock. Yet we're still seeing lots of tremors here. A lot. A lot, every few minutes. That's a lot of bad energy here. That's a lot of energy. It's happening. It's happening. Should you be concerned? I agree. You should be. If you're not, you should be. I showed you Mount Bachelor. Actually, I didn't. I showed you Mount Baker. I showed you Glacier Peak. Let's drop down to Mount Rainier. Let's look at Mount Rainier here. Right here. Folks, this is Camp Sherman. This seismograph is at the top south end of Mount Rainier. The top south end of Mount Rainier. Yes, over here on the right on the blue line. That blue line over on the left is 6:30. Over here, this is 6:43. 6:43, we have a 2.2 earthquake. 2.2 earthquake. After that, you see a few other 2.0s. and a bunch of tremors here. But one of the things you see here is over here on the left center here, left of center here. That's a magma churn signal. That sideways rectangle is a magma churn signal. The magma churn signal is typically 23 to 24 lines high. Let's count this one. Let's count this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10. Which means this seismic device, this seismologist, or seismograph, this seismograph is turned down to about 46% of real world. 46% of real world. The lines here typically should be 23 or 24 lines high. This is only 10. They don't want to be honest with us. They want to keep the seismographs turned down so they're not showing us exactly what's going on. This proves it. And before the night's over tonight, I'm going to show you one other seismograph that's put out two magma churn signals. Two magma churn signals with about 15 minutes of each other. Unreal. But down below here on the red line here, after 8:15. After 8:15. At 8:22 p.m., 8:28, I can't even talk right. 8:22 a.m. this morning on the red line here. We have one thin vertical line here. This is a 3.2 earthquake. A 3.2 small earthquake. People felt it. People felt this earthquake at Mount Rainier. Yes, Mount Rainier is having earthquakes. Mount Rainier is having earthquakes that are felt earthquakes. This is just one more today. One more felt earthquake today. And yet, we looked at the map and USGS did not show this earthquake. USGS did not show this earthquake. Why not? They're not showing it. They're not telling us about it. Should they? Yes, they should. Let's go over to Camp Muir over on the north side of Mount Rainier. Look at this. Up at the top right-hand side on the blue line. The blue line on the left-hand side would be 8:30. Over here, or not 8:30, 6:30. 6:30 here. Over here on the right. Now we're talking about 6:42 a.m. this morning, or p.m. last night. 6:42 p.m. last night. 2.3 earthquake. Almost directly below that on the black line here. This particular black line is after 1 p.m. on the left-hand side. Over here, this is 1:12, 1:13. 1:12, 1:13. This is also a 2.0 earthquake. Yes, we show other tremors here. A lot of other tremors here at Mount Rainier. A lot of them. They're not the only ones. These tremors and earthquakes are not the only ones. There's a lot more. Quite a few more. Quite a few more. I'm looking for something specific here. Okay, I want to go over to Emerald Ridge, Mount Rainier Emerald Ridge. Look at this. Here we're seeing a lot of tremors, but we're also seeing some earthquakes here. This is the HHZ channel. The HHZ channel here at Mount Rainier. We're also seeing the magma coming into the magma chamber here at Mount Rainier. These wavy lines. It's not coming in very strong, but we're having some wavy lines here nonetheless, showing magma coming into the magma chamber here at Mount Rainier. Unreal. Let's drop south to Mount St. Helens now. I want to show you Mount St. Helens East Dome, the main channel here at Mount St. Helens. This is the HHZ channel here. The HHZ channel here. Look what we have here. We have some tremors up at the top, mostly microquakes and very little magma coming into the magma chamber on this particular seismograph because the lines are very thin here. Lines are very thin and showing very little activity here. Very little magma coming into the magma chamber because the lines are thin here. On the red line here after 7:15 on the left-hand side, this would be 7:24 this morning. 2.5 earthquake. 7:24 this morning. Down here on the red line this afternoon, after 1500 hours. 1500 is 3:15. On this particular line, we have a 3.3 earthquake. 3.3 small earthquake here at Mount St. Helens. That's not all, folks. There's more. Lots more. Let me show you what's going on here. Let's go over September lobe. This is September lobe main channel here. Main channel here is September lobe. Let me reduce the size of this seismogram here. This doesn't show much activity at all. This earthquake here in the center on the black line here. On the left-hand side, this would be 6 p.m. On this particular side, this is about 6:11. 6:11. This is a 2.8, 2.9 earthquake. 2.8, 2.9 earthquake. Single earthquake. Single earthquake here. We show this earthquake and a 1.8, 1.9 tremor at the bottom on the red line. Not much activity, huh? Guess what? Let me show you September lobe, showing you the magma that's coming into the magma chamber here at Mount St. Helens. Look at this. I've shown you two main seismograms, two different seismographs here at Mount St. Helens. They are not showing any earthquakes at all. They're hardly showing any activity at all. Yet with this amount of magma here late morning this afternoon, from 7 a.m. this morning to this afternoon, we should be seeing earthquakes all over here at Mount St. Helens. But we're not. Which means the agency in this exact circumstance has scrubbed the earthquakes from the seismograph. So they completely scrubbed the earthquakes from the seismograph, taking them down. This is what that agency does, is lie through their teeth. The magma coming in here to Mount St. Helens is comparable to a huge magma storm inside the volcano. Fracturing rock. Magma beneath the surface here of the volcano, fracturing rock, causing earthquakes. And yet the agency doesn't want to admit to it at all. Neither seismogram here at two different seismographs shows the evidence. Neither one of them. They have scrubbed both data sheets down. They're not being honest. They're not being honest at all. Not one whit. Not one whit. Let me show you timberline, which is on the south side of Mount Hood. Now we're in northern Oregon at Mount Hood. Look here, guys. Here we're showing you tremors here at Mount Hood. This particular seismograph sits at government camp on the south lower side of the volcano. Look at this. We're having earthquakes. We're actually having harmonic tremors. Earthquakes here and harmonic tremors. Some of these lines here before the harmonic tremors show a lot of magma coming into the magma chamber. Yes, magma is coming into the magma chamber here. Absolutely is. The magma here in this situation is causing these harmonic tremors, causing the volcano to literally hum. Harmonic tremors here. Incredible, huh? Absolutely is. Absolutely is. Now, I want to drop down now to Bachelor, Mount Bachelor. Look at this. Mount Bachelor. This is south of Mount Hood. Look at this. Harmonic tremors again. Harmonic tremors at the volcano. 3 years ago, they wouldn't even show us anything going on here at Mount Hood. Now they're showing tremors and more. More and more harmonic tremors here. Mount Bachelor is very active. Mount Bachelor is very active. Let me show you Newberry Volcano. Look at this. Newberry Crater. Harmonic tremors again. These volcanoes are moving. These volcanoes are moving, guys. No, we're not having strong earthquakes, but we're having strong harmonic tremors at every volcano. At every volcano, guys. Unreal. Let's go down to Sisters Volcano. It's not just one volcano either, it's 3 volcanoes. Sisters South, Sisters Central, and Sisters East. 3 separate volcanoes at the complex of Sisters Volcano. There's just one seismograph at the 3 Sisters Volcanoes. Look at this. Again, here, we are seeing harmonic tremors. We are seeing some minor tremors. We're also seeing a lot of abstract. These squares and rectangles here are abstract. They're trash. This should not happen on the seismograph. It should never happen. This means the seismologist screwed up. The seismologist screwed up. But I want to show you the harmonic tremors here nonetheless. Sisters Volcanoes. All of these volcanoes are moving. One more volcano I want to show you, and that's Crater Lake. Good old Crater Lake. This is Mount Scott. Yes, we're having tremors here at Mount Scott. Lots and lots of harmonic tremors. This is Deal Taker. This is Deal Taker here. We've seen harmonic tremors from the Canadian border south. From the Canadian border south to South Central Oregon. No joke. This is what is really going on. Again, the agencies cannot be trusted. The agencies cannot be trusted at all. There are tremors, there are earthquakes and harmonic tremors from the south down. Or from the north down, I'm sorry. From the north border on down. Okay? It's incredible. Now, when I first started this search for information earlier this morning, I did not think that this would happen. I did not think this would happen. I knew we would find some harmonic tremors, I just knew that. But I did not expect to see every volcano and almost every, not quite, but almost every seismograph to have some kind of harmonic tremors on it. Guys, the earth is in uproar. The earth is in an uproar. It's moving. We're going to see a Cascade earthquake within the next 2 years. My feeling. We're going to see a magnitude 8.9 to 10.0 earthquake here on the Pacific Northwest coast within the next 2 years. There's no doubt of this to me. There's no doubt. Do any of you have questions? Do any of you have questions for me? I want to make sure we answer these questions. I want to make sure we answer these questions with real answers. Real, honest to goodness answers. You all deserve that. Don Patoka just put in the chat that the government is reactive, not proactive. They don't even know what proactive means. Supposedly responsible for the defense of the world. Supposedly responsible for not just our defense of our country, but literally the world. We're in. We're in. But I want to ask why. I want to ask why that they are not advising us what's going on. Picoy is asking me, have I seen this kind of activity going on before? Rarely. Rarely have I ever seen this much harmonic tremors going on. About 2/3 of the seismographs I showed you tonight had harmonic tremors. On land and over volcanoes. This gives you a lot of information. This gives you a lot of information, guys. Unreal. Cotton picking real. I kid you not. To be saying I'm concerned is a understatement. Just saying that I am concerned is an understatement. I'm very concerned. Earth is under stress. The volcanoes are under stress. Politically, our countries are under stress. And yet, nobody's doing anything about it. Nobody's even getting excited. Nobody is even telling us the truth. President Trump is the only one telling us the truth. And he doesn't even know what's going on with USGS or the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network. Now, I can understand the PNSN not telling us the truth. They're run by a frickin' Democrat. They're run by a frickin' Democrat communist, Governor Inslee. True story. I've been watching him like a hawk since I first ran into him 6 years ago. I've been watching him like a hawk. He's more worthless than ever. I'm hoping they will replace him at some point in time. But folks, our countries are in a state of flux, really bad. What are we going to do about it? What are we going to do about it? We need to repent. We need to make sure we are right with God. Now, if you too have a pit in your stomach, that sickening knot in the pit of your stomach, part of this can come from well-deserved guilt, from which you get no relief. Echoing David's words from the Old Testament as your own prayer. I know my transgressions, and my sin is always before me. Against you, you only have I sinned, and done what is evil in your sight. God is merciful and forgiving to those that come to him in true repentance. God doesn't play games. God is merciful and true, and he forgives if each of us are truly repentant. If each of us is truly repentant. Call it what it is. Call it lying, calling deceit, calling murder. Millions of people around this world are murdering babies. We have people in this world murdering parents, murdering brothers and sisters, murdering people that they don't even know. We have others committing adultery and fornication. Call it what it is. It's fornication, not safe sex. It's adultery, not an affair of the heart. It's lying, not exaggeration. It's murder, not a right to choose. It's stealing a person's reputation, not gossip. It's slander, not a pious prayer request. God's promises, if you and I honestly, sincerely, and humbly confess our sins, call it out for what it is, in his eyes, he will forgive and cleanse us, each and every one of us. 3,000 years after David's moving prayer of confession in Psalms 51, his words are still being used by penitent sinners as they seek God's forgiveness and mercy. Because the sacrifices of God are a broken heart and a contrite spirit. O God, you will not despise. Praise God. God receives anyone and everyone who comes to him with a humble and contrite heart. But I want you to notice this. David's heart-stopping plea in verse 11, chapter 50, verse 11. Do not cast me from your presence, or take your spirit from me. David knew the Holy Spirit could not be given, and the Holy Spirit could be taken away. He had seen firsthand what happened to Saul when God's Spirit was removed. He knew he did not deserve the continued presence of the Holy Spirit. So he specifically cried out to God to give him what he did not deserve. God is gracious to sinners. He responded to David's honest confession and heartfelt plea, while he allowed David to experience the consequences of his horrific actions. The Spirit of God was not moved but remained in his life. Now, I can't help but think, but wonder whether you and I too, have succumbed to the temptations that led David to his downfall. Were you tempted to go outside your marriage for sexual pleasure? And you did? Or maybe you succumbed to the temptation to follow the crowd around you and pursue other experiences. Are you addicted to pornography, needing more and more deviant images to satisfy your craving that has become insatiable? Maybe you gave in. Maybe you gave in to temptation, to overspend, to overindulge, overeat, overdrink, to lie and cheat and steal, bribery maybe, to betray or abuse. While you have adapted the world's attitude that it is okay, and everyone does it, is your load of heavy guilt underneath that? Robbing you of your happiness, real, honest happiness? Have you come to hate yourself and the web of sin that you fell into? The deceit you have woven that now traps you, that you must cover up with a casual, carefree countenance? Are you fearing your very salvation? Fearing your salvation. Are you fearing that your sin and guilt disqualify you from the supreme privilege of having God's Spirit in your life? That you're not worthy of Him? In the Old Testament, that would have been probable. But everything dramatically changed following the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ and His ascension in heaven. Our relationship to the Holy Spirit permanently changed 2,000 years ago on the Feast of Pentecost, when He entered history in a radical new way. What are we doing? Brothers and sisters, where are we at? I'm asking you where you're at. Where am I at? I've repented. I am the new man. I am the new man. God is with me. I believe God is with most of us. I believe God is blessing each one of us. But the reason I'm talking about this tonight is this little thing. It could be a big thing. If you have not repented of your sins, you need to do that, and do that immediately. I believe Christ's second coming is imminent. I believe Christ's second coming is imminent. I feel it in my bones. I feel it in my heart. And I can see everything around us changing. Brothers and sisters, are we standing with Jesus? As Don Patoga said in the past on this program, are we standing in holy places? Are we standing for something? If not, we need to do it. We need to get right ourselves very quickly, immediately. Brothers and sisters, I love you. And I love my brother, Jesus Christ. He died for our sins. He was resurrected and he is living now. He and our Heavenly Father hear and answer our prayers. Now is the time to get right with God. Now is the time to get right with God. Make sure we can have the gift of the Holy Ghost with us all the time to receive guidance from heaven. Receive personal revelation for us and our family. Let's make sure we hold that treasure in our hands. Make sure we hold that treasure in our hands and are close with our Heavenly Father and His Son, Jesus Christ. I ask that blessing right now for you, with any other blessings that you might stand in need of. I ask the Lord to bless you this day and always. Brothers and sisters, I love you. I love the support you give us. Tonight, I don't think we've had any super chats, but I'm hoping we see some PayPal and Venmo support as well. I appreciate Charlene for her donation and her card today. God bless you all that support this program and pray for Carol and I. We appreciate that so much. May God bless you and God be with you until we meet again. I will see you on the other side. If anything else happens tonight, we'll be back on there to tell you about it as soon as the information becomes available, either tonight or in the morning. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow evening, where we will talk about Southern California and the new matter fault. Unless something else big happens, we'll see you then. God be with you until we meet again.